This is the diary of Adam Bell. Day unknown, month unknown, year unknown. I write this not to preserve a memory but to make sense of one, to untangle the choking threads of confusion that have tightened around my life. This diary, this pen, this moment, they are all I have left of certainty. Even now as I write, my hand trembles. My shadow stretches unnaturally on the wall. It does not feel like my shadow. Nothing feels like mine anymore. I teach history at the university, or at least I think I do. I stand before students whose names I do not remember, repeating the same lesson day after day. History is repetition. Dictatorships suppress individuality. Patterns emerge, patterns. Ha! Funny how the lessons we think we teach end up teaching us instead. It began innocently, or maybe it didn't. Perhaps it had been brewing all along, a slow, festering rot hidden beneath the surface of my mundane life. One evening, after another dreary day of lectures and mechanical sex with Mary, God, I'm ashamed to write that, but it's true, a colleague recommended a film. Something light to unwind, he said. Light? I don't even remember the name of the film anymore. All I remember is him, a face that was my face, a man who was me, but wasn't. The first time I saw him, I thought it was a mistake, a trick of the light, a passing resemblance, but no, it was unmistakable. My face, my voice, my very being projected onto the screen, living a life I did not know. My heart pounded as I stared at the credits. Anthony Clare. The name taunted me, haunted me. Who was he? How could this be? The question swallowed me whole, pulling me into a void I could not escape. That night I barely slept. Mary turned to me, muttering something in her sleep, but I couldn't respond. How could I, when I no longer knew who I was? The obsession took hold quickly, like a parasite burrowing into my brain. I found him. Of course I did. A man's curiosity once ignited is impossible to extinguish. Anthony Clare, the actor, married, a beautiful wife, Helen, pregnant with his child. His life was a mirror of mine, yet inverted, brighter, richer, sharper. I watched from the shadows, a voyeur to my own life, or was it his? The day we met, it was as though the universe folded in on itself. I stood before him, and he before me like two halves of a broken whole. He smirked as if this was all a joke to him, but it wasn't a joke, not to me. His confidence, his arrogance, his charm, it infuriated me. How could he wear my face so differently? How could he live so freely while I suffocated in my own skin? We became entangled like snakes in a pit, each trying to dominate the other. I saw in him all that I was not, and he saw in me something he could manipulate. We switched places once, a twisted game. I thought it would bring me clarity, but instead it deepened the abyss. Mary suspected. Helen knew. And me, I didn't care. Or maybe I cared too much. I no longer know the difference. Helen. God, Helen. She looked at me, at Anthony, but also at me, with such piercing clarity as though she could see through the facade. She frightened me. Not because she was cruel or angry, but because she seemed to know. She was pregnant with Anthony's child, and yet, when she looked at me, her eyes softened. Did she pity me? Did she hate me? Or worse, did she see something in me that even I could not see? The last time I saw Anthony, he took Mary out. A sick exchange, one I allowed. Perhaps I wanted him to. Perhaps I wanted him to destroy my life, so I wouldn't have to. They never returned. Instead, there was a crash, a crumpled car, shattered glass, 2 lives extinguished. Was it an accident, or was it inevitable? Did I kill them by allowing it to happen, or was it already written? Now I sit here, alone, in this apartment that no longer feels like mine. Helen is here. She's in the other room, lying in his bed. She called me Anthony tonight. I didn't correct her. What would be the point? If I'm not Adam, and I'm not Anthony, then who am I? The spider appeared again tonight. A grotesque thing, its legs impossibly long, its body bloated and alien. It watches me from the corner of the room, unmoving yet omnipresent. I used to think it was a hallucination, a manifestation of my fractured mind. But now, I'm not so sure. Perhaps it's real. Perhaps it's the only thing that is real. I am trapped in a web of my own making, tangled in strands of identity, guilt, and fear. There is no escape, no clarity. Only the endless repetition of history, dictatorships suppressing individuality, patterns emerging, lives repeating. I am Adam, I am Anthony, I am neither, and the spider waits. End of entry.